Okay, I think we have our files back.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Thank goodness.
Oh, that's really good.
Oh my god.
It's really, really, really good.
Mm-hmm. I feel like such a weight has been lifted.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the tall trees where the coyotes howl and the frogs sing into the night, there is a big metal shed, and inside is a boat. That boat is where this story takes place. Okay, so I want to update you guys a little bit on what's been going on this past week. And it actually doesn't have to do with the boat itself. You know, this channel, of course, is about boats and refitting this boat in particular at the moment. But our lives are actually quite a 50-50 split between the boat side of things, which is what is shown in front of the camera, and the actual camera side of things, all of the filming and the editing and all the technology that gets us there. And that is kind of my domain. Aladino is definitely the lead boat builder and I'm definitely the lead videographer. So this week I had a really, really huge setback, a really giant failure that basically led to me thinking for a few days that none of these videos would exist, that they were all completely lost. I had a massive hard drive failure, and basically all of our episodes since arriving to our new boat were involved with that failure, and I thought were all gone forever. And apparently some of them have been recovered. Big shout out to $300 Data Recovery in California. I sent my drive off to them. They're a really awesome company and they actually do it for a fair price, unlike most of the data recovery services that I was researching.
And they kept you updated.
They kept me updated
which you wanted.
I was so stressed, my God, I was so stressed. So this is not, you know, a huge story in the overall arc of what we're doing here on this project, but I just wanted to let you know because I think it's an interesting anecdote, some of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Like, we're just dealing with massive amounts of data and new technology all the time, and this was a big failure. So I've learned a lot now. This will never happen again. I've definitely learned my lesson. Many backups.
Yeah, well, it is complicated.
It's a whole, you've got to really have a whole system when you're dealing with this amount of data. So yeah, please everyone, I do not need to read 1,000 comments about how I need to back up constantly. Please.
You know everything about it now.
Do not leave those comments. I've literally spent the past week becoming an expert in how SSDs work because there has been nothing else on my mind. But yeah, I put a lot into these videos. I adore making these videos. I feel so lucky to make them.
And I mean, especially even more now that we have a new camera since arriving here to the new boat. It's not only our new boat, a new project, it's a new camera too. So it's a completely new field for you as a filmmaker to be working on these new images.
Yeah, that's what's been going on. And thank God, I think we're getting most of the files back. Some of them I think are irrevocably corrupted.
We'll see.
But
maybe not.
Yeah, they said a few of them are. I don't know which ones yet. But where this story does affect you guys is that I have not been around to film or even really to do much work on the boat the past week. I've been just trying to deal with all this and really coming up with a plan B for how the heck are we going to tell this story now if I don't have any of that footage. So I have not been around, and Aladino has continued working.
Aladino has been around.
Yes.
So some things look a little different, but there's no footage of it.
Yeah. So we're going to go get you caught up now on what's been going on in the boatyard. So this episode is going to be a bit different. It's going to be sort of after the fact, but let's go get caught up.
got the holding tank out, but guess what that took? It took ripping up the entire floors.
And this entire structure.
This is what it looks like now. Oh, what are you filming? Oh, the wall is gone too. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was 3 days ago.
Well, this is where the holding tank was.
Yeah, this was the latest.
And that's all gone.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could reconstruct it, but basically... I'm always saying basically now. Lately. Basically. This was here. There was the wall coming all the way here and pretty much making only half of this hole accessible. Yeah, bigger reasoning of why we're doing it is, what do we want from this head? We want a shower, a big sink, and the head. Different to what we had before, a flush toilet with a holding tank. We are going composting. So no more need of this giant holding tank taking up this space down here. Because of that, we can repurpose down here. And that's what I've been doing right now.
When he removed this wall, I came in here and we were both sort of like, wow, this is so nice. Let's maybe not put this wall back in, because before we had this tiny little head and then we had this hallway. So we were thinking about our different options here. This is sort of the area where you wake up, you get dressed in the morning, but it is a nice feeling to have some space around you as you open your drawers, you put your clothes on, etc. That said, it's not like it's too much space. You know, I can still reach both sides quite easily when I'm standing in one spot. So it's not a design flaw for an offshore boat. You know, on an offshore boat, you don't want a big cavernous space that you can't grab onto things. And that's not the case here either. So with that idea in mind, to incorporate this all into one, we started thinking about where we can place things and how we can deal with things like water from the shower and all of that. So I think what we've come to is we are going to add a small little wall here that extends out just a little bit, so it's more just like a little partition where the toilet fits in. And that's just so that you can still kind of wedge yourself in on the toilet. If you are in big seas, you've got this wall next to you to lean against, and then the counter on the other side. Over here, I think we're going to have a shower. We're going to get rid of this curvature, just cut it off here so it's flat, and then you can just stand here and have a shower. We're gonna have the shower sump and a teak grate, or just like a wooden grate that you stand on that the water drains through, and then a little ledge. And then the other side of the shower will be a curtain that sort of goes in front of you here and around so that you don't get the counter wet. And then of course there's gonna be a little lip on the floor so that water doesn't drain out everywhere. Here we'll have a nice big sink, and then we've got all of our, you know, cabinetry for our clothes and our possessions that can go here, and I think this is going to be a really luxurious, really beautiful space.
And I want to mention 3 more things about this redesigning stage. So first of all, when removing a big structure like this wall here, you have to know, is it structural or not? And we are still consulting with an expert. I was just able to tell from how it was built that this was not very structural. So if it does require to be structural, then we have to make it a bit different to how it was. And instead, if we can go away without it, then of course we will just go with this little wall here, which also adds a lot of stiffness. And the other part of redesigning is very much about at what height are things going to be, and where do I have cabin sole, and where do I have headroom. So for example, the sink, we decided to place it at the aft section because the cabin top curves out a little bit, so that gives us room where we can place our face onto the sink without like having to go in between deck and the inside here. Along the similar lines then is how much headroom do you need when you're on the toilet? Not as much. So the toilet can go where the cabin sole basically is not existent anymore, because you can add a step. Always by going higher, you can create new foot space, so to speak. So here we add a little podium, and that works. And instead the shower is most luxurious if you have cabin sole, where you can get a firm grip, of course, and it's flat. And that is either right here in the middle or here towards the end where it gets really wide. So yeah, that's how we went about seeing where to place things. And yeah, I like the conclusions we made, and we have a plan to follow here.
Gone all the ways, all the days, oh, can't return back there.
As I started taking out the holding tank, there is underlying issues or just redesigning that I want to do. And that is how things drained on this boat just in general. I would really like to change that. So what happened previously was the chain locker drained through a pipe, which is placed just above the lead ballast, but underneath everything else. So there runs this pipe, and I am seeing now all the other connections that were made. Then there is another pipe which was draining the shower sump. But this was all collecting in different sections, and then eventually going through 2 more pipes underneath the water tanks in the cabin sole to the bilge, and then they were getting pumped overboard. Now I really much want to change this because I prefer a drier boat. I don't want water to travel from the bow all the way to the stern underneath the cabin soles. The floorboards are wooden. It makes just for everything humid and moist all the time, and a few other ideas, like I want it cleaner and more accessible, and that's what we are working on right now. So what you can see here, which was a surprise to me, underneath the holding tank was a little tiny bit of fiberglass, but I was able to poke through with a screwdriver. So I dug further, and now I can see that it is filled with this foam, and somewhere within this foam runs this PVC pipe. So what I am adding somewhere here is a shower sump. Basically it's a container, a closed container. It has a few inlets, 1 outlet, and inside that container there is a bilge pump and a float switch, and there is no water going anywhere else. It is contained within that container. So that's how we are tackling it. And the rest of the bilge, I love using the bilge. It's not a thing that I'm filling with foam. On Magic Carpet, it's our fridge because it's cooler underneath the cabin floors. Well, just for like onions and potatoes. So I will dig into this foam now, see how those pipes are exactly and how they run. Try to eliminate as much of them as possible. Ultimately, once we will rebuild the chain locker, I do want to add a pipe. I don't know if PVC yet, maybe I will fiberglass something, I'm not sure yet. And that pipe also will lead into the shower sump, so that's how I want to drain my chain locker.
Perfect.
Yeah, pretty happy with that.
Every day is a struggle, every day is a trial.
So why did they have foam down here anyway?
An easy way to make a flush surface.
I'll go wherever you go.
If I were to do something similar, a little framing on the edge, and then you have something that you can place in place. You have a cover board.
Yeah.
And you can take it off, you can inspect, you can dry, you put it back on. But if you're convinced of this system, I mean, here it is, still in place 30 years later. Mm-hmm. Why not? But I prefer using this space and not having this 30-year-old poop water logged foam in here.
And I'll go wherever you go. No one knows where the life force flows. No one knows where the next wind blows.
So I hear you've removed all the foam?
Yes, I have. And after removing the foam, I've taken a Scotch-Brite pad and just pure soap. After I scraped it, I took the fine. I just like to cut minor imperfections smooth.
I'll go where the north winds blow.
That is one reason why I want to have this accessible, is because I also want to be able to clean it easily in the future. One thing that I've had bad experiences with always is, like underneath a cabin sole, if you run your hand through there, then your hand, it comes back bleeding. And that is because of just little fibers sticking out and sharp edges, and I just want to eliminate those. I understand that when builders build a boat, this extra step requires quite a bit of time. So what they do is they slap on a thick coat of gel coat. I want to go a little above that, where I see really fibers sticking out. I cut them, I sand them smooth, and when this will be after sanding, we put a new coat on, and then this is our nice bathtub that we can really clean easily in the future too.
It's not actually going to be our bathtub.
No, it's not going to be our bathtub. But I really love the volume of this compartment now. I'm so glad I did this.
So with the head renovation well underway and the data on its way back to me, hopefully, we're going to round out this episode. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed the episode, please give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts and feelings and whatever else. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and if you really enjoyed this content, please consider becoming a patron for as little as $2 a month. It makes this channel keep happening. I could have said that better, but you know what I mean. There's also behind the scenes bonuses every week over on Patreon in real time. These videos are always delayed by several months, so Patreon is where to go for real time updates. And an extra big thank you to these folks whose names are now magically appearing on screen for really going above and beyond to help these videos be a reality. And lastly, normally this is where the video ends, but this week we've got a little something special to close it out. In celebration for this being sort of a difficult week, let's close this all out, put the blues behind us.
I've been working all day and now I'm writing a song. It'll be short cause the day has been long. Find my strength, find my tune, pick out the story from what is true. There's a reason why I need to write words, to force a bit of sense into my too small world. I got my fiddle, I got my pen, whatever happens I'll be okay then. You only see me when I want to be seen. You only hear me when I'm speaking clean. I got my hammer, I got my knife, ready for destruction and ready for new life. I got some boatyard blues, I got some boatyard blues, I got some boatyard blues, and I sure as hell won't talk to you. I got some boatyard blues, I got some boatyard blues, I got some boatyard blues, and I sure as hell won't talk to you. got different versions, and if you peek behind the curtain, you'll always find a backstage. The blues have been here lurking like a turkey vulture circling, waiting for the decay. I got some boatyard blues. I got some boatyard blues. I got some boatyard blues, and I sure as hell won't talk to you. I got some boatyard blues. I got some boatyard blues. I got some boatyard blues, and I sure as hell won't talk to